You know what? I grow tired of covering these topics, and it's just the things that are going viral. It's just I don't know if anybody else is anybody else like sick and tired of humanity right now and the simplistic things that you people get caught up in and that you continuously fall for. Right? So we got these two people fighting Raja, and we all know what he did in the ring when he beat him up. Now, I don't think this is gonna hold up in court. I don't think Roger's gonna do any jail time. But what he did in response, was it totally correct? I would say no. But at the same time, this really shows people's inner bias come out about situations like these that happen. And I'm gonna cover this topic. I wanted to be a minute, but I'm gonna have to cover this topic thoroughly. So he gets hit in the head in a beer can, right, by this guy here, and he gets his get back in the ring, which he was told by the promoter to do. And when you hear all the situation, he was recovering from a concussion as well. So when you go into the details of what actually happened, you're like, okay, this makes sense as to why these things kind of all uh, built up a Molotov cocktail of what is it? I want to say coincidences, but things that happened. So it was a Molotov cocktail of things that had to happen for him to get to enter the ring to do that to that man. And am I gonna blame him? I mean, well, he does have a little bit of responsibility to do it. He was drunk. He was absolutely drunk. And a guy said, like, why is professionals on the job getting drunk, doing this type of job? You should not be doing that anymore in 2025. You're not Stone Cold Steve Austin. This isn't the WWE, right? So it's just these things that are glaring that people are like glossing over because all they want to deal with is race. You have your Nick Fuentes of the world and these people. Well, we know there's a so-called black issue in this country, but there's a bad so-called white issue too, and you people have your problems too, man. Everybody does, man. I mean the uptick of with the red pill and guys getting into goonerism and watching these content creators that are a little risque, right? And I think that's a problem of all races. But we know that there is a lot of negative birth rate going on, and when we talk about people who don't care about the value of life, um, I think every race has that issue in America now. The only people that you care about is yourself and your family and the people in your house. You don't care anything about America. You don't care about making the United States great again. You don't care about that because you don't really care about your brother. I can attest to that. I live here. I know how you people act. But you want to sit here and act like you're better than somebody, you know, that you're doing better than somebody, whatever race that you may be, right? Because you're American, that you're in a first world country, that you're privileged, that you went to college, you went to a university, you did that, you did this. Okay, great. We all going to the same ground 6 feet deep, brother. I'll meet you there when you get there. And hopefully you know where you're going after you hit that place. But that's the goal, is what we do after here. But see, a lot of people think that they're not going to have to account for what they did here in the next world. Because at the end of the day, we all got to go somewhere. And a lot of you don't believe in that. You believe that, oh, you're just going to disperse into the wind and energy just, continues and you'll get another chance. Okay. All right, buddy. All right. Keep believing that, you know. But, more so in this situation, I just think that people need to stop and get off their high horses, man. Stop this race thing. This has been going on for 400 plus years. So-called white people have done things to my people. We have done things to our own people and to them as well, and they've done things to their people. They've confused, bamboozled the populace into thinking that being better and that separating themselves and becoming their own culture is going to save them. It's not going to save you, buddy. It is not going to save you. You're going to go through the same wows and woes that we all do. It's all going to come knocking at your door. And the divorce rate and the laws in family court speak volumes because of your negligence. Because of your negligence towards your brother, this happened. Okay? Because you wanted to take away someone else's house, your house was taken away. So we all going to have to make that call. Because now all men are slaves. Men are second class citizens in this world. So instead of talking about this futile thing here, let's talk about men being second class citizens. Men not having any rights. But do you men really want to come together and really try to save the society? No, you don't have any honor code. You don't have any honor code. When you look in the mirror, you don't care about anything but pleasure. And that's where things need to change, right? But Coach CGA says we're too far down the rabbit hole to go back, and he needs to change too as well, or his chickens are going to come home to roost, and we all going to have to reckon ourselves before that day comes. But I will say this: it's too late. We need a great reset. Things aren't going to get better, and no, it's not going to be a race war. That's not what's going to break out. But this world is going to collapse. Um, from within, definitely. We know that's definitely going to happen eventually. The economy is going to fall, the dollar is falling. We see it slowly but surely. But to keep your head up, stay prayerful. Stay positive, stay optimistic about your life. But all you can do is do what you can and what you can't control at the end of the day. But people need to just you need to wake up. You need to wake up, man. It's more than sports. This is real sports. This is a fake situation here, but this is a real sports. Wake up. Peace.